Hi, everybody. How are you? I am a little crazy. You can tell from the hair, the lack of makeup, but I'm here. And as Sandra and I talk about, we are here so we can get real each week with you. Get real about how you build your business, how you manage to balance both your business and life. I'm trying to balance life right now with a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old out there on the porch screaming. So Grandpa's taking them for a ride to see cows and keep them occupied. Virginia, thanks for coming back. I see, Virginia, you hopped on a little bit ago when I was trying to do my test thing. So what I want to talk about today, and anyone else hopping in, please say hello to me. I want to talk about how to build your staging business. And one of the things that we always think about is realtors. That's where we go first. That is our first options. And I want to tell you that realtors are an important part of your business, but they're not the only component. And the other thing that I want you to understand, you don't need every realtor in your Caldwell Banker office or your Sotheby's office or whatever realtor is in your backyard. You need to connect with a couple of key players that truly believe in the concept of staging. So how do you do that? Hi, Deborah, welcome. How do you do that? Well, you begin with doing some research. Do some research in your area. Do not first think that you need to run out and do realtor presentations all over the world. Now, realtor presentations are important. Interesting realtor presentations are important. Realtor presentations that connect are important. But what you need first are relationships. You know, the old tenets of marketing, and you guys have heard me say this before: know, like, and trust. I've been in this business for over 40 years. Sandra, who is my usual sidekick and is down with the summer cold, has been in the business for over 20 years. You guys know who we are. For those of you that come to listen, you like who we are, and most of all, you trust what we have to say. So what happens so often is people start their business and then they immediately think, okay, put up a website, I have the business cards, I'm ready to rock and roll here, world, but you don't take time to build the relationship. So let's talk first about those realtor relationships. So I want you to spend some time doing some research in your area. Who are the realtors that you see all the time? Who are the people that are out there that are consistently have listings around the area? Those are people that you want to connect with if at all possible. But then who else do you want to connect with? You want to connect with that young, hungry, energetic, enthusiastic, brand new person. So again, how do you find these people? You need to do some research. You need to go to open houses. Now, there is nothing tackier than going to an open house and pitching yourself at their open house. But what does work with an open house is going to them and connecting with people and leaving business cards and finding people that you can have lunch with. So start with lunch or just coffee. See if you can find people that will go to coffee with you. So when I'm talking to the realtor, oftentimes what happens is we come at this from a stager's point and all they think is we're worried about what's in it for us. So what you have to think about is what's in it for the both of you. How are they going to benefit from you? And how are you going to benefit with them? The other thing I want you to think about is taking your presentations out of the realtor's office. I want you to not only gain know, like, trust with your local realtors, I want you to gain know, like, trust with your market at large. And that is going to happen with presentations. But a great way to do this is connect with 1 or 2 local realtors. Maybe there's a team in one of the offices that you want to work with. Maybe there's a couple from the same office. Ask them if they would like to do a presentation with you. Do you see how that now becomes a win-win? So this isn't just about you getting a staging job. It is about you saying, hey, if you're working with female realtors and you're a female, it might be about saying, hey, you're a woman, I'm a woman, how can we help one another out? If you're a man in this business, it may simply be, again, how can I help you out? How can we connect? And then you also need to know the 3 things about you that are different from every other stager that is in the area. What makes you unique? It may be your education. It may be the fact that you've staged homes in a number of other areas. It may be that you've been at this since, the first cave was built back in prehistoric times like me. What is it about you that makes you unique and different? And most importantly, what's in it for them? How are they going to benefit? So I want you to think about building realtor relationships. Number 1, I want you to reach out. I want you to make a list of who are some realtors you'd like to connect with and invite them for coffee. And do not make it a sales pitch. I want you to just ask them to come to coffee and ask them if they could help you understand the market a little better. I'm a home stager, and I know that when the things that I do can help you earn your commission more, but can you help me understand the market? When you empower people to make them feel like you've learned from them, they're flattered by that. So the first thing I want you to do this week is I want you to do some research, and I want you to find 6 agents that you can take to coffee. Now, to get to that 6, you may very well call 20 before you can get 6 that are willing to go with you. But start with coffee. From that coffee, you're going to make a relationship. My husband's on his way out the door with a whole bunch of teddy bears and a couple of little girls to go for a ride. So now from those relationships, you're going to find the ones that you think you can work with. When I began my staging business back in the late 70s and the early 80s, first of all, nobody had even heard of staging. I had my real estate license. I knew that I needed to make houses look better. But when I decided to hang up my license and let it sit in an office and work on a referral basis only, I connected with 3 agents in my area, only 3. Each of them were from a different office, and they were the only ones that I worked with. And if someone else would call me from that office, I would say, I'm sorry, but I work with Donna Harrington exclusively from your office. Now, let me tell you, that was a little scary, because I was counting on the fact that Donna was going to be a go-getter enough that I would have enough business to carry me through. But I also made sure that staging wasn't my only source of income. I have always been an interior decorator who offers staging. So staging was my secondary revenue stream. But I began by inviting people to coffee, talk to them about what I was doing. And quite frankly, I don't even think I used the word staging at the beginning because I'd never heard of it before. But I just talked to them about how I thought I could make their profits more valuable. Those 3 stagers got a coupon from me, and that coupon gave them a discounted fee for my initial consultation or walk and talk. Now I hear you. There's some of you out there saying, oh no, don't ever discount your services. I've never believed in that, because you got to get in the door so that you can get business. So for those 3 particular people, what we did was, the fee for consultation was $150. I charged them $75. So I charged them half price. But we printed up these nice little certificates that said, courtesy of your realtor or compliments of your realtor, Donna Harrington, a staging consultation. And we made it very clear that it was a consultation. I was not there to physically do anything. Donna would give those to the clients. They would contact me. When they gave me back the coupons, I then billed Donna for that $75. Now, what I did from there was, if the client needed physical staging, so in my mind, there is verbal staging and there is physical staging, then the client paid me directly for that type of thing. But it gave Donna and Terry and Mary, the three agents that I worked with, it gave them something different that they brought to the table. And I understood that everything they did is on commission. So as I said, do some research, call some of the offices, see who asks, at the front desk, ask who some of the newer agents are that are in town, and then do some research. Google them, look online, see how many listings they are. In later years, Mary, one of my agents, retired, and I happened to go to an open house for Donna, the agent that I worked for, because that was another thing that I would do. Oftentimes, Donna would advertise that she was doing an open house at 543 Shenley, and bring your decorating questions, that there would be a decorator on site to answer your decorating questions. So I would be part of the open house, that I would be positioned in one of the rooms, and it was amazing how many people had decorating questions. So I got jobs from that. They weren't staging, but I got decorating jobs from that. But at one of those meetings, Donna had brought in a new person who had just moved to this area, and she was kind of shadowing Donna at the open house. And we got to talking, and she was young and hungry and enthusiastic, so she became my Mary replacement. So I never felt the need to try to get a whole slew of realtors. I worked very hard to build relationships with the three that I had. I courted them. I did the same thing that you did when you started this relationship, a relationship that you may be in now, or when you first began with your mate. I courted them. I sent them flowers. I said thank you. I sent them thank you cards. And eventually those relationships, my relationship with Donna and Terry, lasted 20 years. So as we both grew together, it became even better. And for them, they started with me when I was young and naive. And as time went on, suddenly I was on TV on our local television, and they had already connected with me. So it became a win-win. So number one, build relationships by doing some research, reach out to people and invite them to coffee, and make sure you tell them, I'm not trying to sell you a thing. I just want to be as good as I possibly can be in this industry. And I know that you're one of the sharpest cookies around. I've heard a lot of people mention your name, and I wonder if you'll just share some ideas with me. So build that relationship. As I said, from that 20 that you call, you're going to narrow it down to 6. And from that 6, you're going to narrow it down to 2 to 3 that you will work with almost exclusively. And those are the relationships you want. Number 2, realtor presentations. Hi, Regina. Glad that you're here. Realtor presentations. It's a great way to get attention. So you're going to find your core people, but you also want to position yourself as the sharpshooter in this industry. And that can happen by getting in front of an office and being able to share ideas. Now, if your idea of a presentation is to print off all the statistics and read them in a blah, blah, blah voice, they're never going to call you back. They're not going to call you back. They are not going to even remember your name. So when I see people post, hey, I have a presentation next week at a realtor's office, what should I talk about? And the first thing people say are stats. It's like, oh my God, no. Don't start out with stats. Yeah, you're going to throw some stats in there, but the stats that you want to use are going to be the stats from the National Association of Realtors. So every 2 years, and they have just come out with a new one within the last month or so, they talk about why staging is important. Don't tell them necessarily what our staging, we all know, those of us in the industry, we talk to one another, but I want you to give them the statistics that comes from their point of view. But before you even get to that, do something that gets their attention. So for example, many of you have heard my talk about my red robe story where I show up to do a realtor presentations. I have on a long red robe. You could wear anything that you wanted to, but do something outrageous. I wear a red robe. You could do a flannel nightgown. You could just do a trench coat, whatever it may be, and pin things all over it. Stuffed animals, magazines, newspapers, toys, fake food, all of this stuff that's part of our everyday living. Walk through that door looking a little disheveled and just simply say, how many of you are trying to sell a house that looks like this? I've been doing that same shtick, if you will, in my presentations, realtor presentations, for over 30 years. I get requests for that very program. Maybe you're not comfortable being that silly. So first of all, if you want to be in business and you want to make money, you got to do some things that you're uncomfortable with. And right now you may think, well, yeah, Joanne, you know, you can talk to anybody. No, I couldn't. I couldn't always. I would break out in big red splotches all over me. You know, I might have been able to get the words out of my mouth, but I was terrified to stand in front of a group. But I knew the only way that I was going to make a living at what I was doing, and I was a single mom for part of this time I was growing my business. I knew that I had to make a splash. I had to be interesting enough that someone would want to build a relationship with me. So when you think about those presentations, I want you to think about what you can do that will get their attention. So a couple of other ideas that are pulled back a little bit is I will have a suitcase where as I'm talking to them and introducing myself and talking about the powers of staging, I just keep layering things on my body. You know, I'll put on piles of jewelry and I'll tie lots of scarves around me and I'll put things around me and I'll pull a couple of shirts down over my head. And again, I ask the question, how many of you are trying to sell a house that looks like this? Because it's reality. Give them a visual that is strong. Now, the other thing is I have already built a number of realtor presentations, and I have everything from what every agent needs to know about decorating and to color tips and tricks. So when you listen to this presentation, the first 10 people that post in our things, pick me, will receive a free copy of one of our realtor presentations. Now, this is going to be a PowerPoint that will be sent to you, that you simply can plug in your own information, put in your own picture, take out mine, plug in yours. It'll have some talking points in the note section of each slide, and you can use that for your presentation so that you can get there. So start with building relationships. Number one, find those people you can connect to. Number two, start seeking out opportunities to present to people. Because really, this is more about even your few people that you're focusing on. You want them to feel like they've made a big choice. So start creating a buzz. Do things on your social media that grabs attention. Do not say the same thing that everybody else says. Don't tell everybody to declutter and depersonalize. They get it. They know it. We understand that. Think about things that you can tell them that are different. Talk about how your front door color should connect to the landscaping in the yard. Do something that people go, oh, I never would have thought of that. That's a great idea. Simple things. This is not rocket science, kids. You're just trying to position yourself as the person with the practical information. And the bottom line is, based on who we are, the real decorators and stagers, I want you to just get real with it. Just get real and get excited about what you are doing. Okay, so now the next thing in regards to those realtor relationships, I want you to also think about beyond the agent. So I want you to think of the FSBO market, for sale by owner. Now, those statistics that I told you not to quote tell us that FSBOs tend to lose up to 20%. Their selling prices on their house are typically 20% lower than if they would have listed with an agent. So they could have paid that agent's 5 or 6% commission easily and still have been money ahead, but they don't understand that. So you're not there to teach them to list with an agent. What you want to do is help them to position your house. Every community has some kind of magazine where people are listing their for sale by owner homes. In fact, we have one right here in our community, and that's exactly what it's called, for sale by owner. So reaching out to those people. Now, one of the things that I often will do if I go to an open house and or I simply look at their pictures online, on Zillow, on Realtor.com, on your MLS, whatever it may be, Redfin or whatever, I'll take a look at the pictures and then I will send something to that address and say, hey, I was doing some research the other day and happened to look at some photos of your home. I'd like to give you 3 things that you could do to make your house or help your house show better. And perhaps it is something like lower the art in your living room 12 inches. Move the chair in the corner of the dining room out because it's gobbling up space. Give them 3 tangible ideas. And then you're going to say, if you want more ideas, call and schedule a consultation with me. My fee for that is only whatever your fee for that will be. Try to get into those FSBO homes because most people don't understand how to market their property. Okay, I'm just looking to see if there's any questions or comments so far. Hi, Leslie. Glad you are here. Deborah, Elizabeth, Nicole, I'm so glad that you're here. So now with those realtor, excuse me, I'm going to take a quick drink here. With those realtor relationships, the other thing that I'd like you to do is start a newsletter that is printed and or create a little booklet that you can drop off. There should not be one thing in there that is all about your pricing and all of that kind of stuff. I want it to be 5 tips, 3 things every agent should know about getting a home ready to sell or getting a house ready to sell. Do a nice little brochure using things that are out there anymore, like Canva and PicMonkey and so many other programs. There are some fabulous idea. There are graphic designers all over the internet. You can use a service like Fiverr, but come out with something that people want to look at. You know, take that, you know, something as simple like this. Instead of folding it in half this way, why don't you fold it this way? Fold it the long way with a great image on the front, some tips on the inside, your contact information on the back. Spend some money on getting it printed in color. It's 1 page, so spend some money, get this done. But I want you to have tips that are valuable enough that people drop this in their bag and they are taking it out and reading it or referencing it with their clients. you know, and again, just think of some of the tips that you use. If you are staging, art should be 60 inches from the floor to the center, because most people are walking through, not sitting. So that gets you at that correct eye level. If it's you're decorating, that number's going to change to 54 in rooms that people sit. But give them a few tips that seem valuable. Arm them with information. Okay, and I see I had a little glitch in there. Now, one thing that we are doing is I am moving to a new office. I have been working from my home office for years, and let me tell you, I live in the boonies, and my internet connection is horrible here, and there's not a darn thing I can do about it. So within the next 2 weeks, I'm moving to a new office where my internet is going to go, internet speed will go from 3 to about 40. So look out. I mean, just look out, world, when I can work effectively. Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments before we wrap up for the evening? I am happy to take them. All right, know, like, trust. Build realtor relationships by getting in front of them. Invite people for coffee. Invite them to be a part of presentations that you might do at a local library or paint store or wherever, any place that you can do something. Get people involved with you, collaborate and connect. You will build them, they will build you. Someone's going to be eager as an agent. I'd be eager to do something with you because you know people that I don't know. So I might get some new listings or potentially clients that want to buy something. You want to connect with them because they know people you don't know. So connect and collaborate. So my buzzwords for the day, know, like, trust, connect, collaborate. And I think that's about all I have to say for the day, because I'm going to go for a ride too and see some cows. So here I am, keeping it real in Pennsylvania. Thank you guys so much for joining me this evening. And Sandra Race, we hope you get better soon. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Good night.